So let me ask you a question, and I want you to be totally honest. Do you feel invincible?
Invincible. That is that's a loaded word to start with.
It is. And I don't mean, can you bench press a car? I mean, when you look at the tech landscape of 2026 right now, this year, do you feel like you have total command?
Where do you feel like you're just paddling to keep your head above water?
Exactly. And the waves just keep getting bigger and bigger.
It's the classic modern dilemma, isn't it? The pace of change has gone from, I'd say, fast to something genuinely exponential, that feeling of being overwhelmed. That's not a bug. That's the default state now.
But this idea of invincibility, in a career sense, that's what we're digging into today.
It's fascinating. It implies you're not just surviving market disruptions, you're almost impervious to them.
And that's the whole premise behind this analysis we're looking at. It's called 10 Technologies That Will Make You Invincible in 2026. And it's from OscarAI.
Now, I saw this one. It's got that, fun superhero vibe to it, right? Mentions of Tony Stark.
It does. But when you peel that back, the data is serious. We're talking Gartner, MIT, Deloitte, Eureka. These are the heavy hitters providing the actual numbers.
And that's why this is worth our time. We're not looking at cool gadgets. We're looking at where the market demand is, where are the jobs.
What are the superpowers that employers are desperate for right now in 2026?
Right.
So here's the mission. We're going to unpack these 10 technologies. We'll start with how AI has evolved, then the infrastructure that powers it all, and finally the stuff that's reshaping, well, physical reality.
It sounds like a lot, I know, but you'll see how they all connect. It's really more of an ecosystem than just a checklist.
Okay, let's do it. We have to start with the elephant in the room. Or maybe the robot in the room.
Artificial intelligence.
AI. But the report argues that 2026 AI is fundamentally different from what we were all using back in 2024.
It's a complete paradigm shift. I mean, think back to 2024, 2025. That was the golden age of generative AI.
Right. You type in a prompt, it gives you text.
Yeah.
Or an image.
Exactly. It was a creator, a muse. But in 2026, we've moved squarely into the era of agentic AI.
Agentic.
Yeah.
Just sounds more active.
It is. That's the key difference. Agency. Generative AI answers your questions. Agentic AI executes your tasks.
Okay, so it's the difference between a really smart encyclopedia and a really competent executive assistant.
Perfect analogy. An agentic AI doesn't just tell you the flight schedule is a mess. It goes into the system, finds a better flight, negotiates the price, books it, orders your specific meal, and puts it on your calendar.
All by itself.
All autonomously. It's moving from thinking to doing.
But is that safe, letting an AI negotiate contracts?
That's the big question everyone's grappling with. But the economic impact is just undeniable. Eureka's data suggests the market is exploding toward $1.3 trillion by 2032.
Wow.
But here's the stat that got me. A potential 60 to 70% reduction in standard workloads.
60 to 70%. I mean, that sounds less like help and more like replacement.
It can be. The counterargument is it frees up humans for high-level strategy. But for that to happen, the AI needs to work as a team. Which brings up this concept from Gartner, multi-agent systems.
Break that down for me. Is that just a bunch of AIs talking to each other?
Sort of. Think of it like a corporate team. Instead of one giant AI trying to do everything.
The jack of all trades.
Right. You have specialists. One agent is a coder. Another is a graphic designer. A third is a legal compliance checker. They talk to each other to solve a complex problem without a human micromanaging every single step.
That actually makes a lot of sense. So for someone listening who wants to get their hands dirty with this, where do they even start? The source mentioned something called LangChain.
Yes. If you take one thing from this section, remember LangChain. It's the framework you use to build these agents. It's an open source tool that lets the AI connect to other data sources.
Give me an analogy.
The source said it's like teaching tricks to a robot dog. I think of it as giving the AI hands. Without LangChain, an AI is just a wand in a jar. With it, you can give it a web browser, a calculator, access to your company's database. It's the glue that lets you chain different logical steps together.
So that's the brain. But a brain in a jar can't build a car. We need a body.
Right, and this is where robotics and automation come in. This is where AI meets the physical world, or at least the logistical world.
And the report brings up RPA, robotic process automation. It's one of those terms that just sounds incredibly boring.
It sounds boring, but it's a secret weapon. Think of RPA as the AI's digital hands. It handles all that repetitive, soul-crushing work.
The paperwork, the data entry, copying from one spreadsheet to another.
All of it. The AI makes the strategic decision, and the RPA bot literally clicks the buttons. The source mentions looking into tools like UiPath. It's about being the person who designs the workflow, not the person stuck inside it.
Use the robots so you don't become a robot. I like that.
Exactly.
But let's pivot here. All this AI, all these agents running around.
Hmm.
It sounds like it could get dangerous if it's not locked down.
Which brings us to our second pillar, cybersecurity. In a world of deepfakes and AI-driven attacks, security isn't just an IT problem, it's the shield.
The numbers here are just wild. The report says there's a talent gap of 3.5 million cybersecurity jobs this year.
3.5 million.
It's staggering.
It is absolutely a candidate's market. But the philosophy has changed. We are now in the zero trust era.
Zero trust. Sounds a bit cynical. Trust no one.
It is, but it's necessary. The old model was a castle with a moat. Once you were inside, you were trusted. You could go anywhere.
Okay.
Zero trust is more like a modern hotel. Your key card gets you into the lobby in your room, but it won't get you into the penthouse. You have to verify it every single door, every single time.
Verify everything. Trust nothing.
You got it. And that extends to the data itself with something called confidential computing.
What's that?
Well, data is usually encrypted when it's just sitting on a hard drive or moving across the internet. Confidential computing protects it while it's being used.
Also in memory.
Yes. The computer works on it inside a secure black box. It's crucial for AI processing sensitive data, like your healthcare records.
So if I want to be the person who understands this shield, where do I start? The source suggested hack the box.
Hack the box is fantastic. It gamifies it. You legally break into machines to learn how attackers think. It's hands-on. It basically throws you in the pool.
I like it. Okay, so we have the shield. Now we need the backbone. We can't talk about 2026 without the cloud.
For sure, AWS, Azure, they're still the foundation of everything. But the conversation is shifting a bit.
To edge computing.
To the edge, yeah.
That's a term that gets thrown around a lot. Can you just break that down? Why are we moving processing away from these giant data centers?
We aren't moving away from them so much as distributing the load.
Right.
Think about a self-driving car. If it sees a pedestrian, it can't afford to send that video all the way to a server in Virginia and wait for the command to stop.
Right. The latency would be fatal.
Yeah.
Literally.
Exactly. Light only travels so fast. Edge computing means processing the data right there at the edge of the network, inside the car itself. It cuts latency and saves a ton of bandwidth.
And for the tinker at home, the source says to get a Raspberry Pi.
A Raspberry Pi is perfect. It's a tiny little computer. You can build a home automation server for $50 and see exactly how local processing works. It makes the whole concept tangible.
Okay, we've covered the now tech.
Hmm.
Let's get into the future tech that's finally becoming now tech. Quantum computing and blockchain.
Right.
Quantum always feels like it's just 5 years away.
It's always felt that way, but 2026 seems to be the year it's shifting from science experiment to, having some actual commercial utility.
But how does it work? I hear Quivet and my eyes just glaze over. It's a 1 and a 0 at the same time. Is that right?
This is the simplified version, yeah.
Yeah.
Superposition. But let's focus on why that's so important. Nature isn't binary. Molecules don't operate in ones and zeros.
They operate in quantum state.
Right. So if you want to discover a new drug, a classical computer struggles to simulate how molecules will actually interact. It has to approximate. A quantum computer can simulate the real thing.
So it's a game changer for chemistry and drug discovery.
Huge. But there is a dark side, which ties right back to our security discussion.
Let me guess. They can break our passwords.
Eventually, yes. They'll be powerful enough to crack most of our current encryption. That's why there's this huge push right now for post-quantum cryptography.
Designing the locks for the keys that don't exist yet?
It's an arms race. Always is. And you can actually try this stuff. IBM Quantum Experience lets you access a real quantum computer through the cloud and run experiments from your laptop.
That's insane. Okay, what about blockchain? And I feel like we have to say this up front. We're not talking about the price of Bitcoin.
Please, no. The source is very clear. We're talking about utility, trust, and transparency. Think about a supply chain for organic coffee. Blockchain can create a permanent, unchangeable record of every step that coffee took from the farm to your cup.
No faking it.
No faking it. And you have smart contracts on platforms like Ethereum.
Another term that needs demystifying.
Just think of a vending machine. You put your money in, the soda comes out, there's no middleman. A smart contract is just code that does that automatically for a digital agreement. It prevents fraud and speeds everything up.
Okay, we have been very digital so far. But the guide also talks about reshaping our physical and biological reality. Let's talk about sustainable tech.
This is critical because you can't have all these AI data centers without massive amounts of power. The source points to a huge shift in battery tech, specifically sodium-ion batteries.
Sodium ion, as in salt.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
MIT is highlighting this. Lithium is scarce and expensive. Sodium is everywhere. These new batteries are cheaper, safer. They're a revolution for storing solar and wind power on the grid.
And the job market there is just exploding. The source projects 9 million EV jobs in India alone by 2030.
It's a massive shift. And we're also seeing a comeback for modular nuclear energy, small, safe reactors to provide that clean, constant power that solar and wind can't always give you.
Now, this next one, this is where I really felt like we stepped into a movie.
Right.
Biotechnology. The source literally uses the phrase Jurassic Park moment.
It does. They're talking about gene resurrection, specifically the work being done to bring back traits of the woolly mammoth.
I mean, that is just cool. But does it have a practical application beyond, running a theme park?
It does. The mammoth gets the headline, but the underlying tech is base editing. Think of it like a spell checker for your DNA. We can now edit individual letters of the genetic code.
And that's being used to cure genetic diseases.
Diseases that were previously incurable. But the sources are quick to point out this is complicated.
Right, the ethics of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
MIT brings up embryo scoring and base-edited babies. The tech is moving so fast we're having to figure out the boundaries in real time.
And finally, reshaping reality.
Yeah.
AR and VR. The metaverse. But again, is this just about better video games?
No, not at all. We're looking at practical use. The market's projected to hit almost $21 billion. Think about surgeons practicing a complex procedure in VR before they ever touch a patient.
Or IKEA letting you place a virtual sofa in your living room.
Exactly. It's about merging digital information with our physical world in a useful way.
So we have these 10 incredible technologies. AI agents, quantum computers, gene editing. It sounds amazing. But let's get real for a second. It can't all be smooth sailing.
Definitely not. And the deep dive has a serious reality check section.
What's the biggest risk that stands out to you?
Well, there are material shortages for batteries, for example, but I think the biggest hurdle for professionals is going to be the regulatory landscape.
Things like the EU AI Act.
Exactly. Governments are waking up. You can't just build whatever you want anymore. You have to navigate this incredibly complex web of compliance.
And there's also just the time crunch. We just listed 10 massive fields. Trying to learn all of them feels like a recipe for burnout, not invincibility.
That is the most important synthesis here. The challenge is the sheer volume. You cannot be an expert in quantum computing, gene editing, and agentic AI at the same time. You will fail.
So what's the strategy then? If I'm listening and I want to be invincible in 2026, what do I do?
The strategy is convergence and selection. You don't need to know all 10 perfectly. You need to understand how they connect.
How the cloud powers AI or how blockchain secures IoT devices.
Yes. And then you pick 2, maybe 3 to go deep on. Be T-shaped, broad knowledge of everything, deep knowledge of a few things.
Find your combo.
Find your combo. Maybe you're a cybersecurity expert who really understands AI agents, or a supply chain manager who specializes in blockchain. That intersection is where you become undeniable.
That's a great way to frame it. Build a unique stack of skills.
And then take action. Don't just read about it. We mentioned LangChain or Raspberry Pi, Hack the Box. Pick one tool we talked about today and just spend a weekend with it. Start small.
So invincibility isn't about having superpowers. It's about adaptability.
It's about looking at this market and saying, yeah, I can learn that.
Continuous learning is the only real superpower.
That's it.
I love that.
Eh.
We've thrown a lot at you today, but the ball is in your court now. Which tool are you going to pick up?
I'm curious to see what people build.
Me too. Thanks for diving in with us, everyone. Go out there and build your survival kit. We'll catch you in the next deep dive.